Okay. It's time to go chill. Do a little people watching. But I'm actually looking for a place to sit. I would prefer to be on the grass in the shade. Yeah. So I see a potential spot. And we're almost to wherever we're supposed to be. Okay? Okay. This is where we're headed today. I even see some place closer towards the water, but I don't know. I think this might be a good spot. It's right across from the lake, right? Up under this beautiful tree with all these pretty buds on the ground. Yeah. Okay. So. And we're going to leave that on there too. Look at that light of that sun on my back. You see it? I don't want to blind y'all with it, but god dang. I love that. I love to see the sun out like that. Love it. I love it when I call it forth. And when I say I call it forth, it could be raining, cloudy, overcast. And if I happen to see where the sun actually has potential to shine, which it always does, I call it out. I call it forth. All right, y'all. So give me a second. Okay. So I showed y'all my little goodies and stuff I had out earlier. I do have more, right? Right now, I'm just gonna take a little moment. And even though I'm in nature, I'm about to set my own vibration. And I'm gonna share a little with you too, okay? It's so good. So I hope you enjoyed that. I trust you enjoyed that. I trust it helped you like calm down, relax, decompress a little. I've been waiting to get back to this place for a little over maybe 2 weeks. And I decided that I was going to do a couple of things as I was out here today, right? One of the things I said I wanted to do, or one of my intentions set, was to do a photo shoot for some of my jewelry. Okay, I'll just show you a few pieces. Alright, these are a pair of earrings, right? They're copper and denim. And then the other two pair, I'm just going to pull up the whole, the strip, the muslin strip that I have them on, right? Right. And the rest of my items are in my box. I'm going to take some pictures of them later. And I have a sheet, a white sheet, to provide a background so the items can be clearly seen once I take the pictures, okay? I hope that sun is not bothering y'all. This is such the perfect spot, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. So, some of the other things I came out here to do was to read, journal, do a little homework, and pull some cards for myself. But since you're watching, and if I have your permission, I will pull one for you too. Well, how about, since you're watching, right? You're giving me your permission because you're watching, and maybe whatever comes up will be for you, and you don't have to fret. Hold on. When I say you don't have to fret, I know some people are not into tarot and oracle cards. I happen to love oracle cards, so I pull those for myself more often than not. Sometimes I share them, sometimes I don't. But today, since I'm in the park and this is what I came to do for me, and you're here with me, that's what I'm going to do. Okay? So, first thing, oh, you should see all the little buds. Hold on. Little buds are falling on my blanket. Alright, my first set of cards that I'm going to pull from is my I Affirm deck. Okay. Let me get that sun out your face. Let me get that out your face. So I already set my frequency. And for those of you that know, right, just listening, taking in all of the sounds here. That noise right there, when I was a child in my parents' home, I learned to discern how hot it was going to be outside by hearing those sounds of those bugs. If you've ever watched the movie Belly, they use that noise as a sound effect to let you know when it was about to get turned up. So when I hear it now, and this is even before I get out of the house, I already know it's about to be lit outside. They also have had a heat advisory. I think I mentioned that in the earlier video, and that's why I got out early, because it's nice and cool, right? So as I'm sitting here vibing with you, chatting with you, is that one of my friends? Okay, I call the bees my friends. I'm just lightly shuffling the cards. This is all I'm doing, right? And again, this is from my I Affirm deck. It's not my personal deck. But this one that I chose. Alright. Thank you, Source. Thank you. I know I have the divine protection. Cloak, covering when needed. And I ask that as I get a message for myself and whoever's watching today. I heard that. I didn't even open my eyes. Now I did, just to make sure it didn't land on my shoulder. But I ask that you allow your goodness to come out. Ooh. And this is the first time I'm actually like, that one flew too, that I'm shuffling. Okay? That I'm recording me shuffling. So, and I give thanks for these messages. I give thanks for this time, this space, this serenity, the abundant love and peace that is felt out here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it is. Okay. So, 2 cards flipped out. You heard one, and I don't know if you saw the other. First card that came out for today. Alright, you read that. I'm trying to make sure you can see it. And I'll read it. First card is Creator. And it says, or I will affirm what it says. I affirm that I take action toward living the life of my dreams. I affirm I take action toward living the life of my dreams. Ooh. Got one more. Oh, second one. Mother. And where am I at right now? In nature, surrounded by mother. I affirm, I nurture my wounded inner child. I affirm that I nurture my wounded inner child. So I will just speak from spirit about the 2 cards pulled today. What I'm getting from it is creator and mother. Mother is the creator. Mother is the feminine energy. Feminine energy creates. It can create on its own without any assistance. However, as we've come to learn nature, learn about things in nature, we learn that there are 2 polarities of energy that create or assist in creating creation. That's the feminine and the masculine. And if you're thinking of this as I'm speaking, when I say feminine and masculine, you probably think man and woman. That's how we learn. That's how we were conditioned to learn. Not taking anything away from that process in creation, because there's so many other routes down rabbit holes that we could go. But for the sake of what I have pulled with the energy or the message that was sent, this season that we're in is Cancer season. Cancer is known as the mother. It is ruled by the moon. And we're about to enter into Leo. Leo season, but for the sake of time frame we're in and the I'm about to step off into something, but I'm going to say it anyway. And I say step off because I like to try to make things seamless so it's not hard to follow. But I'm explaining it to you as I understand it. We are going to be in energy of Cancer. I believe moon of Cancer. Moon in Cancer. Energy for the next year. Right? So having our emotions revealed, learning to nurture how we feel, learning to nurture ourselves, nurturing, mothering our inner child and the wounds of that inner child, right? When we take action toward living a life of our dreams, we become the creator of one that can nurture everything. Because your wounded inner child, it can, if it's not tended to, if you don't pay attention to it, if you're not aware of where you are wounded or where your inner child is wounded, it can sabotage a lot of shit. As an adult, the ways that this could show up, if you were not nurtured when you were a child, you learn to get attention in other ways. And as we are approaching the moon in Leo, I will just say, part of that way that you may have learned to get attention, or you wanted attention, you did a lot of stuff that will get you in trouble. And it got you in trouble because your parents didn't nurture their wounded inner child. So they just took it as you being mischievous, maybe you had a smart mouth, but you weren't doing it on purpose. You were seeking attention that you should have received from your caregivers. And because you did not, you became the creator in a low vibrational sense. You didn't know it. Matter of fact, you came here perfect. You knew exactly what you was doing, why you did it, but it still may not have given you the results that you wanted. So, okay, got the red ants out here. I do not want to get bit by one of them. I never felt what that feels like. But in affirming, bringing it back full circle, in affirming that you are a creator, that you have the ability to mother, right? You're going to take action toward living the life of your dreams by nurturing your wounded inner child so that you can have fun in life. I'm so grateful I was able to, thank you, Source. I'm so grateful that I was able to bring that back to like the affirmative end, because these cards are about affirming. And when you affirm, you're stating something, you are stamping it, you are co-signing it, you're making that a vital point of confirmation for yourself. When you affirm, you confirm for yourself. And it's just, this is, oh, I want to see something else, right? On this creator card, right? You see that infinity sign and how that pointer finger, this is our, our pointer finger, there's, it's, oh wow, it's notes and wisdom, information that reveals a lot. It can show us a lot, right? This infinity, the sign of infinity, as a creator, means that infinitely you can create. You can continuously, you have infinite possibilities to create the life that you want. And you are connected to infinite possibilities and infinite ways of taking action to creating the life of your dreams. What is the life of your dreams? What does that look like? Wow, what does that look like? And I wanted to point out too, just on the mother card, right? Before you even see the affirmation on the bottom of the card. You see how Mother is holding, nurturing, she's embracing, caring for the child. This is what you are affirming in this moment, that you have the power to do. And it would benefit you to do it greatly. I don't want to be on here telling y'all what y'all should do. I'm not here to give advice. This is advice I take for myself, and I'm sharing it with you. And being outside right now, the breeze, oh my God, it's God. It feels so... It's like heat advisory where, like, Mother Nature is just... You know, when you're hot and your mother used to, blow on you to cool you off, or blow on a spoon of your food because it was hot to cool it off. That's what that breeze just felt like. So, back to this nurturing of your wounded inner child. You can find out where you have been wounded in your inner child, in your birth chart, or in your natal chart, by looking up your Chiron, Chiron, Chiron. Chiron is not a planet, it's an asteroid. There's a story to Chiron about how it got its name. And I will explain it later, because as I'm thinking of how to share it with you, I don't want to tell you the wrong things, like leave out certain parts of the story. But what you do need to know is that where you are wounded is also where your strength is. That's where you need to heal. That's one of the innermost places, one of the strongest wounded places that you need to heal. And you can heal it if you put in the work. You can do it. Oh, wow. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do for you, and one of my books that I brought with me today, I'm going to see what they say about Chiron. I'll read it to you. Hold on. In the meantime, while I'm finding this, I trust that you have enjoyed this video so far. Okay. Let us see. Okay. Chiron. So, okay, there's the story. I'm going to read you the mythology about Chiron. Give me a second. Because that was the story that I was thinking of. I remember it, but explaining it in detail without leaving anything out, I didn't want to do that. Okay. So, all right, I found a section in my book. Okay, and its title is Chiron, Healing and Compassion. And this is not my book I wrote. I'm just sharing this information, okay? Chiron has been defined variously as asteroid, comet, and minor planet. It seems to defy categorization, right? Because, you know, when you hear about your natal chart, you hear about things spoken of in like constellations, planets, stars. In our chart, Chiron represents our desire to heal, make whole, and it can indicate aspects of our life where we have been wounded. So, what does Chiron rule in your chart? It doesn't rule anything. It's not allotted to a specific day of the week. It doesn't have a metal that it's represented by. It doesn't have any color. But its symbol in your birth chart, it looks like a key, right? It looks like a K, a letter K, with a little circle on the end. And if you see that, if you draw that as I said it, right, it looks like a little key. So Chiron is the key to your healing and compassion, right? How you heal and have compassion for yourself. How you nurture, how you mother yourself. So, Chiron in the myth, right? It says the centaur, Centaur, the centaur Chiron's parents are the nymph Philyra, Philyra, P-H-I-L-Y-R-A, Philyra, and Chronos, like chronological, like time, okay? This centaur's parents, right, they rejected him, and when he was fostered by Apollo, the god of music, prophecy, poetry, and healing, Chiron in turn became a wise prophet, healer, teacher, musician, and a mentor to many. So this is the myth about Chiron. It's just broken down in a small paragraph. But it's very interesting to read what happened to Chiron when he was rejected by his parents. And that's how your inner child gets wounded, due to rejection, due to neglect, due to abandonment. Like you hear some people say they speak about abandonment issues, right? Can't block the sun, baby. That's how I'm taking that. You cannot block the shine. That shine is coming through. Okay? So, on this page that I'm reading this information to you from, the characteristics of Chiron are the wounded healer, the maverick, the outsider, scapegoat, compassion, alienation, displacement, alternative, mentor, teacher, vulnerability, and healing. Okay. I want to share this one last thing with you because I don't want to. I keep saying what I don't want to do, but I'm doing it, right? I'm concerned about losing you. But just like me, if you here listening and you decide to do research, you can do research so you won't be lost. You will never be lost. You found this video and this information at this time for a reason. Excuse me. Excuse me. The younger generation says that those are confirmation burps. That's what they say. When you belch, when you speak in, you delivering a message, you're sharing, call it confirmation burps. So, on to Chiron through the signs, right? So, this is what I'm sharing with you now. It's going to help you consider how this planet, now they said planet, right? How this asteroid expresses itself according to the sign that it occupies. Occupy and rule are two different things. So it occupies means it is like, that's where it has taken up space, or it's taken root in your life via your natal chart. So I'm going to go through each astrological sign, right? And what I read is how Chiron expresses itself under this sign. This is only in your sign. This is not, it doesn't have anything to do with the house. So, Chiron, if you have a Chiron in Aries, it says self-exertion can be a challenge. Perhaps early on you were discouraged from going your own way. If you know anything about Aries, Aries is the first sign in the astrological chart. It represents the self, the head, face, leadership. So it says healing arises from finding your independence. So if you have Chiron and Aries in your birth chart, that is what it is expressing, and that is how you can heal yourself, by finding your independence. Next is Taurus. Taurus is the second sign in your natal chart, in the astrological chart. And Taurus rules hard work. It rules shmoney, right? It rules possessions, tangible and intangible. It also is ruled by Venus, and it denotes beautiful things, right? So if you have Chiron, if you have Chiron and Taurus in your natal chart, it says you may have experienced an early lack of material security. That's what I wanted to say. Taurus represents material security. You may have experienced an early lack of material security, leading to a need to develop your own grounding. So how you heal Chiron and Taurus is you develop your own grounding. You develop your own material security. If you have Chiron and Gemini, Gemini is the third astrological sign on the chart. It's ruled by Mercury. That's the planet of communication. I forgot to say Aries is ruled by Mars, and that's the planet of action. Gemini represents the sign of the twins, right? Looks like almost like a Roman numeral 2 with a little curve, right? Curve on top, curve on bottom. And it also is the sign of communication, inner communication, like mental. It's a sign of I think. So if you have Chiron and Gemini on your chart, it says you might have encountered challenges in speech development or a disrupted education. But you can have a gift for language and communication. So this is what is expressed, or how Chiron is expressing itself when it is in Gemini in your natal chart. If you have Chiron in Cancer, Cancer rules the 4th house of the astrological chart. And again, I told you Cancer is also the mother, right? Ruled by the moon. The moon rules over our emotions. Emotions, our energy in motion. It is known as the nurturer. So, if you have a wound, if you have Chiron in Cancer, there may be a feeling for you of not belonging. So you may feel like you don't belong. Perhaps you were adopted or separated from family. That's what Chiron in Cancer expresses. Chiron in Leo. Leo is the 5th astrological sign in your natal chart, and it is ruled by the sun. The sun is known as the father, right? So, and the sun shines light on everything, right? You can't outshine the sun. You know about Leos, you can't outshine Leos. Not that you're trying to, but anyway, it's ruled by the sun, and it is Leo has a lot in its chart. It rules creativity. Hold on, let's pull that card back out, right? Creator, but creativity is one of the aspects of Leo. Childlike energy. Childlike energy, leader. I forget the word before it. I learned that in Professor Melanie's class. The charismatic leader. That's who Leo is, the charismatic leader. Okay. So if you have Chiron in Leo, it says, perhaps you were not allowed to shine. Be playful or perform. Uncovering. I'm trying to let hold on, y'all. I'm trying to let the bugs live. You know, the ants crawl everywhere. And I am in their territory, but they're going to share with me today. They're going to share with me today. All right. Okay, so it says, perhaps you are not allowed to shine, be playful, or perform. Uncovering your creativity can inspire others to find their creative courage too. Did you hear that? And I will say that in viewing content around or regarding or utilizing tarot or astrology, and just minding like the energy that we're currently in, what's going on and stuff like that. We're constantly being reminded to create more than you consume, which means if you're always taking by consumption, create and give back. Yeah, we'll leave that out there. Okay. Next one is if you have Chiron and Virgo. Virgo is the 6th astrological sign in your chart. It rules the sixth house in your astrological chart, and it is ruled by Mercury as well, right? So it shares a common ruling planet with Gemini, and Mercury's way of showing up in communication through Virgo is analytical. It's very much internal. Okay. Virgo also is known as the Virgin. It rules over health, order, I want to tell you hard work, similar to Taurus, but if you know about Virgo, their hard work is to work to perfection. And a personality of a Virgo, if you're not sure what that might look like, think about Beyonce, think about Michael Jackson, Larenz Tate. Okay, let's not digress. If you have Chiron in Virgo, you may seek to achieve perfection but feel you fall short of this. Psychosomatic illnesses can reflect a mind-body tension. So remember I said that Virgo 6th house energy also rules over health. So because it's such an analytical sign and it wants to do things to the, when I say to the T, y'all know how y'all be like clocking T to the T. If you have Chiron in Virgo, how your wound is expressed is that you may seek to achieve perfection but feel that you fall short of it. And that constant wanting, desiring to just be perfect, like you can become very hard on yourself. You can become so extremely hard on yourself that if a psychosomatic illness occurs, it can reflect the mind and body tension, meaning that tug of war between your mind and your body. Your mind is saying it wants to do everything perfect, but your body like, fuck that. Or your mind is telling your body you could do this, and your body's like, it might listen, and even if you do it, you might not feel like you did it well enough. We're gonna move on to Libra. Libra is the 7th house. It rules the 7th house in your astrological chart. And by the way, when I'm saying it rules these houses in your chart, this is for what is it? This is for the The name will come to me, but it's not sidereal. This is like for Western astrology. I forget what they call it, tropical? No, wrong. Not wrong, but I'm mistaken. Just know that I'm not speaking about the sidereal chart, right? We're talking about Western astrology. I'll leave it at that for now because it's escaping me exactly what I want to say. So if you have Chiron and Libra in your chart, what it is expressing is early experiences of being treated unfairly that might have led you to develop a role as an advocate for those who have suffered injustice. I'll read it again. Your Chiron in Libra expresses early experiences of being treated, unfairly that may have led you to develop a role as an advocate for those who have suffered injustice. So what it's saying is that's how you would heal that wounded aspect of your inner child. If you had Chiron in Libra, you might end up becoming an advocate for those who have suffered injustice. Doesn't have to be a lawyer or a public defender or anything like that. You could publicly, you could advocate in other ways. Let me move real quick. Hold on, because I heard it behind me. Hold on. Y'all can't see it. Can you see that? Hold on, can I open this up? I can't. Okay. I can't make it any wider. But on the tree, I don't know if y'all can see that bug, but that's the bug that be making all of that. That's the heat trigger noise bug. That's what I'm gonna call it. That's the bug that lets you know how hot it's going to be outside. Because when they start that, listen, you hear it? When it starts that, but anyway, I heard it buzzing behind me. That's why I even drew attention to it. Okay, moving right along. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more signs, right? For Chiron through the signs. So the next sign up is Scorpio. Scorpio represents the 8th house in your natal chart. It rules over death, transformation, other people's money, deep. When I say deep, emotional transformation. It is ruled by Neptune and hold on. Hold on. Yeah. I think it's okay, hold on. I'm gonna tell you in 1 second. Because it's 2 planets. Scorpio got 2 planets. bear with me for 1 second. I just wanna, yes. Okay, so I was right what I was thinking. Scorpio is ruled by Neptune and Mars. Right? It's ruled by Neptune and Mars. And Mars is the planet of action. That's who Aries is ruled by. And Neptune is the planet of imagination and transcendence. Okay. Now that I got that out the way, so y'all understand what's being read afterwards. This is why I'm adding these extra things to inform you about the sign itself. So if you have Chiron and Scorpio, it expresses itself in this way. Disempowerment might be a theme from your childhood years. You can find creative ways to work with deep feelings. Now, this book, like I said, I'm reading exactly what it has, what it is listing, everything. These are brief, to the point descriptions or vital information that you can take away from what is being shared about Chiron in your sign, depending on where you have Chiron, and not your sign like your sun sign. It's where it shows where you have been wounded in your natal chart. Where you have been wounded in your natal chart shows where you need to nurture yourself, how you can help heal yourself, right? So, like I said, Scorpio is about deep emotions, death and rebirth. It is ruled by Mars and Neptune. Neptune rules the sea, the water. So you think about the sea, how deep the sea is. And the sign of Scorpio. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I keep moving around because I feel like I'm getting stung a little bit. It might be these little bugs. But anyway, it's not stopping anything. Yeah. So the disempowerment, it says it might be a theme, which means it has been reoccurring since you were a child. When shit reoccurs in your life from a child to an adult, that is beyond deep. This is why Scorpios have a reputation for, they could go deep. Like, I'm not saying about trauma bonding. I'm speaking about healing. They can go deep because they've been through some shit. Okay? They've been through it. And they're very resilient. Very resilient. And they are considered human lie detectors. Which is why y'all be like popping shit about Scorpios, but that's because they could see through your lies. Shout out to my Scorpios, yo. Shout out to my Scorpios. Yeah, so the disempowerment, like just think about somebody disempowering you, or a situation or situations that have disempowered you. It has taken your power away. And if it's a theme and it's been reoccurring, but you have overcome it, that's where the rebirth comes in. That's where that burning to the ashes and resurfacing as a phoenix comes from. Okay? So it says you can find creative ways to work with deep feelings. And off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking about one Scorpio in particular who has taken their deep inner child wounding and turned that wounding into wealth, not just materially, but wealth as far as knowledge. And they are currently assisting women in healing their mother wounds, and specifically black mother wounding. All right, so she has a course. Her channel is dedicated to healing the black mother wound. Remember what I said? Healing, nurturing. The card pulled today is the mother. We're talking about Chiron and Scorpio and how you can help heal yourself. And it says you can find creative ways to work with deep feelings. That's how she has stepped out and turned her pain into purpose, and has developed a creative way to work with the deep feelings of disempowerment in her childhood by nurturing her inner child. She has a course. It was an intensive I think it was for 4 weeks. It was kind of quick. I did take it. And her name is Jennifer Arnice. She ooh, there's dragonflies coming in. She cuts to the marrow of that topic. So if you are interested in healing your mother wound, you want to hear information straight about that, that is your girl, Jennifer Arnice. Okay? Next, Chiron and Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the 9th house in your natal chart. It is ruled by Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion. Sag is a fire sign. It's also known as the seer. They see far and wide. Far and wide. That's expansion, right? They know no strangers. Really, they don't know any strangers. Because they know how to talk to people. Oh, they're very blunt. They can be very blunt. You want to know the truth? Ask a Sag. You can ask a Scorpio too. You ask a Sag. They're gonna tell you what it is. Straight, no chaser. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. All right. And like I said, their ruling planet is Jupiter. So Chiron, if you have Chiron in Sag and Sagittarius, it says you might have sacrificed opportunities for further education or travel, because that's another thing about Sagittarius. They under Sag. What is it? Travel, higher education, spirituality. They're gifted in that area too. I'm gonna stop right there. But it says you may have sacrificed opportunities for further education or travel, or loss of faith may have led to restless searching for your own beliefs. You may have sacrificed opportunities for further education or travel. So you could have decided to not have children, maybe not get married, so that you could further your education or be able to travel. Like travel the world, right? And it says, or you may have sacrificed opportunities and loss of faith may have led to restless searching for your own beliefs. I don't know about y'all, but that touched someplace, you know. So restless searching, because they're seekers, you know. They seek and they see. You might just been on a deep dive for just restlessly searching for your own beliefs. If you have Chiron in Sagittarius, I don't mean to leave y'all hanging. I feel like that kind of left y'all hanging, but I'm just reading from this book. I'm trying to add a little extra to it, so it helps you to understand it or understand it a little better, right? We're gonna move right along. Yo, the red ants, man, go. I ain't trying to kill the bugs, just stay away from me. Next sign up for Chiron is Capricorn. If you have Chiron and Capricorn in your chart, it says, now wait, I can't leave y'all hanging like that. Hold on. Little ant keep playing with me, man. Go. Okay. Telling y'all now, if y'all make it in my bag, it's a wrap. Y'all, it's a wrap. Okay. Sorry about that. Chiron and Capricorn. Capricorn rules the 10th house in your natal chart. It is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet of time, discipline, karma. We leave it right there. Capricorn is very disciplined. It is hardworking. Its astrological glyph is the sea goat. Or they might just say the goat. But sea goat. And when you the goat, you the greatest of all time. Okay? So I'm not going to show no, yes I am, I'm going to show some bias Capricorn sun here. So pretty much Chiron and Capricorn. Now this doesn't mean that I have Chiron and Capricorn. I'm just shouting out my sun sign. Okay. Chiron and Capricorn, it says you may have shouldered responsibility. Capricorn is very responsible, right? We learn that from an early age, how to be very responsible. That's one of the positive traits, right? You may have shouldered responsibility at an early age. I just said that. And a feeling of not fitting into the system can lead you to carve your own image of authority. I'm going to read it again. Yo, the red ants is so funny. They like little mischievous children. Give me a second. Hold on. And every time they come near me and I see them, they jet. Like, I know they like, well, why are you over here? Just let us chill. Why this heat advisory is not kicking into effect for us yet, right? Okay, so you may have shouldered responsibility at an early age, and a feeling of not fitting into the system can lead you to carve your own image of authority. That's how Chiron expresses itself. The wound of it expresses itself in Capricorn. So the wound could actually symbolize, like, you have shouldered, right? Which means you've carried, excuse me. You may have shouldered so much responsibility from an early age. It makes you, it can make you hyper independent, not codependent, hyper independent. Meaning you don't look for help, you don't want no help. You feel like you could do, and I shouldn't say you don't want help, because you actually do, but you're so used to doing all the things, carrying the burden on your shoulders that of responsibility, that and at an early age you don't fit into the system. You don't fit into the I can't do it. You make a way. You always make a way. You always make a way. So it leaves you, because you haven't had the authority figures in your life, or the caregivers in your life, their wounding of you showed you how to be your own authority. So it says a feeling of not fitting into the system, it could lead you to carve out your own image of authority. So that's what you end up doing. That's what you end up doing. All right, I'm going to move on to Aquarius. Aquarius rules the 11th house in your natal chart. And I love my Aquarians. Also, and I love my Capricorns also. Aquarius is known as the water bearer. It is also ruled by Saturn. Y'all wish y'all could see these red ears, yo. It's also ruled by Saturn, and it is also ruled by Uranus, or as they call it, Uranus. I always say Uranus, but you know, y'all mind a wonder and you be like, Uranus, like, come on. Uranus is the planet of rebellion and change, eccentricity. It does its own thing. If you were to look at the orbit of the planet Uranus, you know, the planets usually revolve like this. Uranus don't do that. It do its own thing. Very unexpected. Don't care. Just, I said, you'd be like, nah, you're supposed to go like this. It'd be like, what? I'm going to do what I feel like doing. That's Uranus. So if you know Aquarians, you know the sign of Aquarius, their glyph is two waves. It looks like water, but it's actual air waves. Depending on the glyph, it could either have a woman pouring, right, calling it the water bearer, meaning knowledge bearer, right? And the air waves, because those are waves, that is frequency. That's what it's given. The frequency of knowledge, bearing knowledge, technology, airwaves, radio. Think of airwaves and radio waves. Ooh, y'all saw that bug. So yeah, Aquarians ruled by Uranus and Saturn. You got the undisciplined planet and the planet of discipline in the sign of Aquarius. Bananas. So if you have Chiron in your chart under the sign of Aquarius, it is expressed as a commitment to social equality and acceptance of diversity that might emerge from an early situation where you did not fit in. So your commitment to societal equality and acceptance of diversity, of change, stuff being different. You don't go with the flow. You don't follow shit. You do your own thing. That may have come about because at an early age, a situation emerged where you did not fit in. So instead of you trying to fit in, instead of you trying to be accepted, instead of you trying to do the same thing, it made you not do the same thing. That's what made you like, but you was wounded in this area in Chiron. I'm just, like I said, I'm just adding a little more, try to explain it as best I can. That was a flower bud. So that it makes sense. Yeah, pardon me, my nose is itching. Okay. I'll read it one more time. Chiron in Aquarius. A commitment to social equality and acceptance of diversity might emerge from an early situation where you did not fit in. That's how Chiron expresses itself. The wounding, remember, Chiron it shows where the wounding is and where healing and compassion are needed in your sign, right? Moving on to the last sign. If you have Chiron and Pisces, right? Pisces is known as the two fish, one swimming upstream, one swimming down, right? It looks like two curves with a current. It's a water sign, right? It's a mutable water sign, meaning it's ever changing. And because it swims both ways. See the little, anyway, it swims both ways. It knows no boundaries. It don't have no boundaries. And it's ruled by Neptune. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. It is very dreamy, very imaginative, and it is considered the most spiritual of all the signs in the zodiac. It has the tightest, quickest connection to spirit, right? Water. Think about water, energy and water, emotions, imagination. I told y'all that it's ruled by Neptune. Neptune rules imagination and transcendence. Okay. All right. So if you have Chiron and Pisces, this may suggest an early experience of loss, illness, or sacrifice. I forgot to tell you, it rules the 12th house of the zodiac, and Aquarius rules the 11th house, right? Pisces rules the 12th house, and it says this may suggest an early experience of loss, illness, or sacrifice. And you can develop your own holistic spiritual vision and assist others to do the same. So Pisceans, they are natural born healers. Because they have this innate gift, when they are wounded in that area by experience of early loss, illness, or sacrifice, they're able to heal themselves and help others heal when they learn to develop their own holistic spiritual vision and assist others to do the same. That's how they heal. They help heal. Okay, now that I read that, because I went into the whole breakdown of Chiron, what it meant, what it's about, what it defines, or how it's defined, and the myth of it, like where Chiron comes from, so that when you see it in your chart, under whatever sign you have it under, you invoke the power of a mother, right? And affirm, I nurture my wounded inner child by whatever your Chiron means in your chart. It's how you're going to heal yourself first, right? It's how you're going to heal yourself first. And you're going to heal yourself first by mothering yourself and nurturing your inner child. That is going to make you a magnificent creator, right? You have the power to take action. It's going to give you the power to take action toward living the life of your dreams. Isn't that something that it did not say? You take action toward living the life of your dreams just by, or at all, by making money, making more money. Because people think, they have a tendency to think, if they have more money, they can live the life of their dreams. They can live a better life. And I'm not saying money does not help things. What I am pointing out is the root of that mindset being lived as your highest timeline, dream life. It starts from healing. Now, if you want to put an extra spin on that, as far as like, how does the healing relate to money, wealth, or currency? It would be the energy that you spend, because when we say I'm spending money or I'm spending money, you're spinning, circulating that currency of energy to nurture yourself, to pour into yourself, to educate yourself. Pardon me, my nose is itching. That is where you would invest. That's how you're going to invest in being a great creator, because you affirm to yourself through your healing that you take action toward living the life of your dreams. Because you could have buku bucks, as my mother used to say, buku dollars, superfluous amounts of money, but that inner child, that unhealed inner child wound, that Chiron being unattended to, it'll fuck up everything. It will have you self-sabotaging. It will have you not showing up for yourself. It will have you doubting yourself. It will have you underestimating yourself. Just not showing up as the star player in your life that you actually are. So, make sure, I'm trying to figure out a way to wrap this up. Make sure that you tend to your garden. Tend to your own garden. How they say, mind the business that pays you. The business that pays you in this scenario is the one of investing into knowledge of self. And as you invest into your knowledge of self by doing your research, doing your work is healing. A part of that work is healing. A part of that work is acknowledging, or what they call shadow work, acknowledging it and being accepting of it. I'm thinking about Miss Blue. Shout out to Miss Blue in the All About Frequency class. Because, she has affirmed that people are not energy. We're not learning to read people. We're learning to read frequency. When you love on yourself, this is something else she points out about self-love. She says the new self-love is shadow work. And I don't know where you are in your journey of growth, expansion, and watering yourself about this knowledge of self. But shadow work in the spiritual community, and depending on who you listen to, it's looked at in a very like harsh way. Sometimes it might even be connotated as negative, but it's actually very helpful. It allows you to know and show up as the real you, the authentic you, the authentic self. Without doing the shadow work, you're walking around with a big ass mask on, and you don't even know who you are, let alone other people. You don't know who you are because you keep running from the things in your subconscious that you cover up, hide, mask when you're in your conscious state, like now, like you're up and about. Instead of you really like addressing the fact that you get to work late every day because you actually hate where you work. You wake up every day and you smile it off, and you shuck and jive, and you put on your happy face, and inside you're either boiling or dying because you're not happy, and your wounded inner child is not happy. So depending on where you have wounding in your inner child, when you're at your place of work with that unhealed wound of that inner child, it might show up as like, oh, perfect example. Remember when they used to say that people went postal? It used to be a time when you would hear about postal workers going on shooting sprees. And that's where that term, they going postal, comes from, because they didn't just go on a spree wilding out for no reason, shooting people. Something set them off, aka triggered them, and it was able to trigger them because they did not heal what it was that was wounded in their inner child, and now they're an adult around other people, and they don't know how to emotionally regulate. So something sets them off, and now everybody got to get it. Everybody got to lay down. They got to get down, or they going to get laid down. That's what happened with the people that went postal. So I bring it back full circle. The shadow work would be acknowledging that they really hate where they work, and they don't want to be there because it doesn't make them feel good. And that they find something else to do for work that actually nurtures them, and in turn, when they nurture themselves, they assist in the nurturing and healing of others, because someone else sees that and they say, you know what, I don't want to be here either. I'm forced to be outside in all types of weather, heat, cold, we're not treated fairly, whatever the situation might be. I'm just giving you a scenario. And the person may remember, they will remember the one that actually did that shadow work. They may not know the person did shadow work or whatever, but they took steps to heal a part of them that was wounded, that was keeping them, that made them feel like they had to be obligated to this job that they do not like, that they actually loathe. And the person viewing the person that left says, well, if they did it, I can do it too. That's how we heal one another. When we heal ourselves, we take currency, stock and currency in ourselves. We pay attention to where we hurt. We pay attention to what needs healing. And we give it to ourselves. So you heal yourself, you heal the collective. It's vibratory. It is frequency orientated, ignited, and expansive. And that's how you help everybody heal. You become the creator. You take action toward living the life of your dreams. And what that looks like for everybody is different. Today, I'm living the life of my dreams. I'm in the park, in nature, on a Sunday. Oh, I see beautiful little people. The babies, the children are adorable. They're adorable. Oh my goodness. They're so cute. And I'm seeing adults. I'm seeing young people. I'm seeing elders. I see people of all ages here today. But one of the best things about today is that it started off, I told y'all the heat advisory was on and high. When I was coming here, it was like 85 degrees. I don't know how warm it is right now, but it's overcast. And it's partly cloudy, partly sunny. Which means the sun is coming back out on a 1,000. But the clouds right now have like shaded a lot of that heat. I'm also sitting under a tree. I'm surrounded by trees. So there's a lot of shade here. And it feels great. It feels great. So I had a good time sharing with you all today. If you have stayed until this video ended, do leave me a 100 emoji. Oh, I know what. Leave me 1010. Put 1010 in the comments. Right? I saw 1010 on my way here. And I was looking at a building that had the address 1010 on it. So 10 is the number of new beginnings, because 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 equals new beginnings. 1 is about self. 1 is about self-mastery. First house in the chart is ruled by Aries. Sorry.